Welcome, ladies, to another episode of Bench Talks, where we dive into stories of resilient international women who overcome difficulties on their journey. I'm Vera Svach, transformational coach, energy healer, and spiritual guide. I have created this global community of international women and founded More Life Makeover Club. In each episode, my guest and I are exploring a life-changing moment in their journey, where they faced a significant challenge. We discuss the actions they took and the mindset shifts they made to overcome those difficulties. My vision is to provide you with inspiration, empowerment, and reassurance that no matter what is happening in your life, you can handle it. And moreover, you can come out of it stronger and wiser. And now it is my honor to welcome a great guest, my friend Nadja Danciger. Hello!
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and I just think what you're doing is wonderful. So thanks for having me.
I'm very happy. So before I introduce you, I wanted everybody to feel you and feel your energy. Great. Nadja is a musician, songwriter, pianist, producer, and composer. She's incredibly talented and creative soul and a wonderful human being.
Thank you.
Her husband, Matt Danciger, is a filmmaker, producer, and we will be talking about a project that they have created together. Nadja is mom of Eva Bella, daughter, who is 11.
She's 11.
And she's a school friend of my oldest daughter. And that's how I became to know Nadja here in Berlin. Nadja is German-American, coming from New York, and she moved to Berlin already twice. For the first time in year 2000, and we will hear about this story because it's inspired the project that we will be talking about. And then she moved again to Berlin 5 years ago.
Exactly, yeah.
To make this project alive and pursue her dreams. So Nadja's talent as a pianist and songwriter and producer have resulted in having her songs being aired on radios in Germany, Australia, America, and she has created a lot of film music and work also for Sat.1 as a musical producer. I could go on and on. It's incredible.
Because I'm old.
It's good because
I've done a lot.
That's also motivating, because you don't stop evolving, you don't stop creating. And the theme that I would like to explore with you here, and I would love you, everyone, to open yourself up to receiving this energy of this theme, and that is resilience. Story of Nadja and her family is very powerful. Nadja is the daughter of Holocaust survival mom who has walked a long journey, her mom and Nadja herself. And this story is also inspiration for her big project that she has created and started in 2014. This creation I have
Actually,
learned.
it started in 2013, right around the time my daughter, Eva Bella, was born. It was sort of like two things were born, like my daughter and this creative idea. So I almost feel like I have twins. No. But it's same time about.
Cool. So we will explore this journey and this project that was being born and now is being brought into life. And also, together with this resilience, I sense from you a lot of like passion for your dreams, to pursue your dreams, like never stop following your dreams, which I really, really admire. And also looking for, you know, various ways how to pursue your dreams. Mm-hmm. First of all, do you want to tell us about this new project that you have founded, you have created, or do you want me to wrap it up?
I'd be happy to talk about it. I love talking about it.
I know.
Which is great because after working on it for about 11 years, I mean, not, you know, completely every day for 11 years. It started as an idea and then, you know, I worked on it a little bit. And I would say the last 5-6 years have been really devoted to this project. But yeah, I'm a songwriter, I'm a pianist, I'm a musician. And even though I worked in a lot of different areas, as a music producer for TV, as, you know, a music supervisor for films, you know, all different kinds of jobs in the music industry. I always continued to write my songs and play the piano and even teach piano. And I guess my greatest passion was always to write music and bring my songs out into the world. So I had this idea about 11 years ago. It popped into my head because I wrote a song that I thought was going to be my big hit. And I sent it around to people, and someone in Nashville heard it, some producer in Nashville, and he was writing a musical, or he was creating a musical, and he wanted to use the song in his musical. And I thought this was a great idea, and it sort of sparked the idea of musical. And, you know, once again, it's such a difficult industry to break into, you know, as a songwriter, but not so much as I don't really have the voice. So I'm a pianist and a songwriter, and I can produce my songs, but I can't really perform them because they're pop songs. So you know, it's very difficult to break in and find an artist who's going to sing and perform your song. So I guess it sparked this whole idea of writing like musical. Mm-hmm. And then things didn't work out with this guy. But that seed was planted inside of me. And eventually I thought, you know what, why don't I write a musical? That way I can write lots of songs and put them in a musical. And yeah, that's how it sort of started. Mm-hmm. And then I thought about, well, what do I have to say? What story do I want to tell? And I guess I always felt like that being the child of a Holocaust survivor and having lived in Germany during a time when, especially in Berlin, when things were still very raw, shortly after the wall came down, it was a very fascinating and electric and raw time in Berlin and German history. And so I thought there was something there. There was something in this story that I could pull out from my experiences. And sure enough, I have done that. I have done that with some help from my husband, Matt, who's a filmmaker and a writer and just a really overall super talented artist. And yeah, after about a year or two of just me working on this idea, coming up with a story and characters and what this would look like in a setting, he came on board and said, you know what, let's make a film and I'll write it. Yeah, so we started working on it together, and then I pulled in Tracy Scharf, who is an incredible lyricist. And as much as I love writing music, writing lyrics to my songs has always been my weak point. So I thought, okay, well, if we're going to do this, we're going to have to do it right. And we're going to have to do it really good. So I went to the best. I went to Tracy and Matt, who's also incredible. So yeah, we just decided, okay, this is really cool. It's a cool time and place. Berlin, 1990. The wall just came down. This really cool place called the Tacheles. I don't know if you were here at that time, but in shortly after the wall came down, these artists moved into this abandoned building that just became this hub for artists and creators all over the world. It became a really famous place. So if you'd been in Berlin from anywhere 1990 to 2012, when it finally did close, you would know about the Tacheles.
Wow.
So yeah, we thought this is a great setting for this songwriter from New York who's going to come to Berlin and be free for the first time, you know, really feel what freedom feels like.
Wow,
because as a child of a survivor, you see, freedom isn't something that comes easy. Yeah.
So, to sum up, Nadja has created a theme and created a music for a musical called Let's Talk Tacheles, if the name will prevail.
It's looking like, I mean, Let's Talk Tacheles is our favorite title. There's another title being thrown around, but we are sticking with that for the time being.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it too. Yeah, I like it too. How long is now? Yeah, is the
How long is now is another option.
another option.
Americans don't really know what Tacheles means. Germans do. It's a double entendre because talking Tacheles is to talk straight up and to talk heart to heart. It's a word found in the German, in the Yiddish, and in the Hebrew language. It's not an American word. So a lot of people in America are like, well, what is this Tacheles? We don't know what this
Tacheles,
is.
yeah. Tacheles.
Tacheles. They don't know what it is.
Tacheles, yeah.
I say, well, let's tell them what it is. It was this amazing place called the Tacheles, a place in Berlin that was just notorious, you know, infamous.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Yeah. So this musical, which has also now a screenplay for film adaptation.
Well, it started as a screenplay.
Oh, it started as a
Matt
screenplay?
wrote it
and
as
that
a
was
screenplay, and it was then during COVID adapted for the stage.
Wow.
Yeah, because we just had the luck, you know, we met the right people. So they're like, we got to get this on the stage. We're like, okay. So, yeah.
And this musical tells a powerful story of Rachel, young freedom seeker, songwriter, and a daughter of Holocaust survivor, coming to Berlin from New York after the fall of the Berlin Wall, 1990. So this pop rock drama is inspired by true events and Berlin's legendary art house Tacheles. That is the art house, the building that we are talking about. Me personally, at the time when the wall fell, was living in Czechoslovakia. So I was behind the Iron Curtain.
Wow.
So I remember opening up to this electric rock, pop, crazy new things like wearing jeans, listening to music that you like, being able to express yourself in a way that you like.
Yeah, I bet.
Speaking up your thoughts, ideas, it was incredible. So I can imagine how was it in Berlin. And I was reading a lot about Tacheles and what was happening there, how all the artists came there. So basically this musical is set in this age, but also it's a love story when this Rachel, Jewish girl, fell in love with a German. So that's another level of freedom.
Well, it's not so much that she falls in love with the German. She falls in love with a German who has a past.
Yes. Yeah.
A past of having been part of this gang of skinheads. Which
So
was,
neo-Nazi and
yeah, I mean, you know, in 1990, when all voices were freed, there was a time when there was an uprising of more and more of these neo-Nazis. And, you know, when we first started this project, you know, we didn't realize how much the world was going to change. You know, now it seems to be more and more, you know, timely and relevant, this story, you know. Who would have known?
Yeah.
Who would have guessed?
I sense this musical, this project to be really up to date, because more and more now it's important for us to talk Tacheles, which means talk straight,
to talk heart to heart, which is what you're doing
Heart to heart.
this podcast,
and also seek the future. Free yourself. And this Rachel, this main character, goes through this, you know, process, the journey, like freeing up from her oppressive mom and seeking her way as an artist, as a musician in Berlin in those times. It's inspired by your story. You were also seeking your freedom, the story of escaping, getting free from oppressive mom, overprotecting, which of course, based on the background, is normal. So how do you feel? Like, you have now the theme being in the screenplay. You see Rachel. How do you feel now, looking back at your own journey?
Well, you know, I've worked on this for a long time now, so I've kind of, I'm not Rachel anymore, you know. I mean, Rachel is a part of me, of a part of a time when I lived in Berlin, the first time I moved here, and I really did get away from my, you know, I was very much like sheltered. I was a very sheltered young woman. I had no experience in the world. My mother has a lot of fears, rightfully so, because she was very traumatized when she survived in a bunker, you know, hidden with her mother and some other family members when she was just a little girl. So, you know, she's a very overprotective, somewhat dominating person, and I had to get away from that. You know, I couldn't take it anymore at one point, and I did come to Berlin, and I really lived. And there is really no better place to do it than in Berlin.
In 90s.
Well, no, it wasn't the 90s. I'm still younger than that. We set it back. You know, we're taking some liberties for, you know, creative purposes. But I moved here in 2000 the first time, and it was still very, very cool. It was still very raw. But 1990, of course, right after the wall, was just like the most interesting time, I think, that Berlin really experienced as a city.
Cool.
Did I answer your question? Because you asked me about
you said
how do
that you are not Rachel anymore.
I'm
you
not
mean
really
that you
Rachel anymore. No, I can see her as a character now. I've had enough distance to really, and she's, you know, it's a story. I mean, it's inspired by true events, but it is a story, you know. So I don't really see myself as Rachel. Though sometimes there are moments where I'm like, yeah. I remember that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will take now the story to another level.
Okay.
I have been following your work and the process of making of this film and musical over those years. Yeah, these past 5 years that we both are in Berlin, somehow connected. There has been many obstacles, many changes, be it COVID, being adaptation, many hard things, like to create a musical or a movie. It's a long-term process. You need to find investors, and you need to find all those actors, do the workshops. I remember you having the first show, and I'm sure it's not easy. I can't maybe imagine. Here's where the resilience comes. So what helps you to keep on going?
That's a very good question.
Thank you.
Well, a wise person that I cared for very much once told me that the only ones that ever succeed are the ones that never give up. And that has really stuck with me, because if I give up, I will never succeed. So giving up is not an option. And I think the other thing that really keeps me going is that I'm very passionate about this project. I feel like, you know, we did this incredible creative thing. We worked years and years and years. I mean, we're still fine-tuning, but now, of course, the main creative part is done. So the creative part was so, you know, engulfing of like us three, Matt, Tracy, and I. It was an incredible time where, you know, I birthed something. It's like having a child. You never give up on your child. So I think having this project that really feels like, first of all, it's very important. The message has become more and more important as the political landscape of the world is shifting. So I feel inspired, like, wow, I've got this story and these songs. And let's face it, I mean, what's going to connect us if not music? I think music truly is the language of the soul. Everyone can understand it and speak it and be moved by it. And I think that our project really has music, story, and, you know, elements that could make a difference in the world. So that keeps me going. It really fuels my fire through all the different stages. And then also I have to say that even though sometimes I think like certain doors are going to open and now we're going to do this thing, and let's say it doesn't happen the way I imagine it to happen, and then I'm like, you know, how am I going to keep going? I really trust that it's meant to be. We will find our people, we will find our path, and sure enough, we always do. We always find, or people come, and just the right timing and everything. So I guess between really trusting, never giving up. I mean, if you give up, then what?
Yeah. Like give up is not an option. I like that.
Giving up is not an option. And if you believe in what you're doing, I think you really have to find something that you really believe in. Because if you don't, it's easy to give up. You know, so find what it is that you're most passionate about. Work really hard. I mean, it's not come easy, let me tell you. Years and years and years of work, and you don't see any money coming in. This is the other thing. Like, you work, you want immediate gratification. You want to have money for the work you've done. I guess at some point you have to do it not for the money. You do it for the joy and the passion and something bigger than yourself.
I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
And it can be, I believe, very inspirational for many of you guys. Because many of you, many of us have dreams and passions and visions, but we give up so early. And I know how hard it is. I walked a long way from communistic Czechoslovakia, pursuing my dreams, jumping from small city in eastern Czechoslovakia, you know, to Berlin.
I mean, you've done a lot too. You've written books. You're like doing all these different amazing
and
things.
It's not easy. No. And I love also that you stress the importance of always reminding yourself of the passion. Like pouring oil into the fire.
Yeah.
To remind yourself, like, yes, I love it. I really love it. Sometimes you're like, oh my God, is it good enough or something? But, you know, I really feel that this is the thing. So remind yourself of the good thing.
Yes,
you know?
and positive reinforcement. I mean, you know, we have put it out. We did a couple of workshops for the stage version of the musical, and the feedback is so positive. So we keep getting positive feedback, which also, you know, I think that if like people weren't responding to it, I may have quit sooner. I don't know, you know, maybe, I'm not sure. But the feedback is good, and you know, I guess I really believe in this project.
Yeah. So it's not always money that gives you the reassurance.
No, there's no.
So it's it can be
I
also
hope at
other
some
things.
point that will change.
Well,
that would be nice, but
it can be also different things that can help
sure.
you to keep going.
Absolutely.
Yeah? So soon, hopefully soon, we will learn more about this musical, or you can share with us the information or the website. You have mentioned the financial situation, the financial challenges that the money is not pouring in. Did you have to adjust some family financial situation? And you know, it's not always so easy for years and years to give so much time, energy, and also, I believe, money to a project that you believe in. Do you have some personal tip, or if you can share how you do it, which can help maybe also other women how to find more resources or the ways to keep the dreams alive despite these difficulties?
Well, I mean, for a very long time, we did it, you know, as like after our full-time jobs, you know. I mean, I don't really have a magic answer here. I mean, there were many, many years of the project where I was teaching piano, living in Los Angeles. And, you know, Matt still has his company. And, you know, we had to do this in the evenings or early in the mornings, very early, before my baby would wake up. I would be up at 5 and working on a, you know, outline for my story and my concept. But I guess when we realized that this was going to be something we are going to dedicate our lives to doing, we were able to change. Well, we moved to Berlin, which is a different lifestyle to what we lived in Los Angeles. And we had to rearrange our financial income, how we're going to do that. We've had to raise money. You know, already we've raised quite a bit of money to keep going with this project to where we are today. Now, of course, we have to raise a lot more money to make the movie. But, you know, it's a journey. It's a journey. I guess, you know, it helps when you have people in your life that believe in your product.
Yeah.
If people believe in your product and you can raise money so you can keep going, that's what you have to do, you know. We've been fortunate that we've had that, you know. Yeah.
I also believe that it's important to have people who are your cheerleaders, who support the project, not to discourage you. If you have those people in your life, try to eliminate the influence of those people
that don't support.
That don't support.
Exactly.
They don't support, and even if it's family, that's the hardest thing.
We haven't had that issue. Thank God. Everybody loves our project.
Yeah.
Even my mother, you know.
Yay!
You know, the mother role in our story is a very challenging role because she, on one hand, was very traumatized from her youth, but she, you know, and we have to feel empathy for her character. But she's also, you know, very difficult in her, you know, the way she is towards her daughter. You know, she's dominating and somewhat abusive. So you've got this character who's a Holocaust survivor, but she's also, you know, she's got so much fear. She's just riddled with fear. So when we put it on, my mother came, you know, my parents came to see the show, and my mother was like, they love it. They love it. And my mother was like, well, you know, the mother she's not very nice, you know. I don't like how you portrayed me. I said, it's not you. It's a fictional character inspired
by you.
Well, you know, it also has to be an interesting story. So you have to sometimes dramatize your characters to make it more interesting for people to watch. So, of course, I mean, I didn't have a relationship with a East German cop who was a skinhead. That never happened to me. And I never lived at the Tacheles, though I used to hang out there when I was younger. I liked it, but you know, so these elements in the story are
based on,
inspired by,
So your husband met is a line, co-creator, which is really good. But even if you don't have husband or close relative or friend who is supporting you, be resourceful, go out there, talk about your project, online, offline, visit various events where you can get other people on board who can support you either financially as investors or like be your cheerleaders.
It's a very good point, what you said about talk to people. I mean, I literally talk to everyone. I mean, even if you don't like it, I will tell you about my project.
But it's an important
It is, because you never know.
For everyone.
What I also do is I follow every single lead. So if somebody says, you know what, I've got this guy you should talk to, even if, you know, and many of these leads don't lead to anything, but I never, ever don't follow up. I always follow every single lead. And you'd be surprised. The most, like, you would never think that something would come from this person, and that's where the connection comes that you need. You know, you just never know where. Because you never know.
I like that. I like that. It's important advice. Like, really, don't feel ashamed or just like go for it. And that's how many projects and big companies and completely new ideas came to life, because people were just talking about it, presenting endlessly. Because you never know, you know, when, where, you know.
Who's going to hear, see you, know somebody else, you know. You
and
just
that's the resilience, Find your passion, as Nadja says, like, be there, work hard. Yeah. That's also important to hear for everyone.
Yeah, you do have to work hard.
You do have to
I don't think there's any easy way.
Yeah.
But connect with good people, you know, maybe find partners that you think you would work well with.
Yeah, cool. I like that. Yeah. Last question, Nadja. I love to ask this all the women. What nurtures you? What gives you energy? How do you take care of yourself so you can keep on going to be resilient, pursue your dreams, be here for the others, for the project?
That's a very good question, Vera.
So,
well, you know, what do? I get into nature. I walk my dog. Berlin is beautiful, so I try to go to the lake or into the forest or something at least 3-4 times a week. I try to eat healthy. I put good things into my body as much as possible. I do some yoga. I try to move my body. I try to take care of like me so that I feel good inside of myself, so that I have energy to go out and handle everything that I need to handle. So, you know, and I also give myself time off. You know, you cannot, though I have to admit, I probably work more than I should in terms of I'm always thinking about the project. You know, Matt's like, can we just not talk about the project? And I have a hard time not talking about the project because I'm so close, you know, I can like feel it. So I just wouldn't like, you know, it's like the last stretch where you're like really have to, and I feel like we're there, knock on wood. But yeah, there are times when I don't think about the project and I have to consciously shut it off in my head and just be like mom, wife, friend, all those things.
Fantastic, yeah. Thank you very much. That's also something that we all need to hear. Yeah, that to take care of ourselves is so important because we are here doing the long run.
We really
not a sprint, you know.
We're here for the long run.
And you also inspire me to keep on going, like real lifelong dreams and passions. It just doesn't stop or yeah, it's so wonderful. And
I think it's also like an age thing because you think you come to an age and you're like, oh, well, I should have had this by now and I should have done that by now. And, you know, I try to shut that voice off because everyone's on their own trajectory. So I didn't have my hit song when I was 21, but I still will, you know. So
hopefully. I know what song you're talking about.
Do you?
And, yes.
Which one's your favorite song?
Can I say?
Sure.
Freedom.
Yeah?
Oh my God.
Yeah, you like
Since
it?
I've heard that, of course, I would love everybody to hear it. You let us know when we can.
I'm not sure now.
I just keep on singing. It's so.
Do you?
It made me cry.
Really, freedom.
It
wow,
moved
that's good.
me
That's
so
an
much
important
because
song.
freedom is also my topic.
Right, of course, it's totally your
I grew
topic.
up in period where we didn't have freedom. My parents couldn't do what they wanted. My brothers couldn't study university they wanted, and I had to walk a long way and work hard to have this freedom of doing what I want, living where I want. It's like this song resonates with me so much, and once you get it in your head,
You can't get it
my
out?
God.
Okay, well, that's great.
I love it. I really love
happy
it.
to
So
hear that.
yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. So thank you very much for sharing your story, your behind the scenes, of the project and of Nadja. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. It's fun to talk to you. And
Great.
yeah, thanks.
Great. Thank you very much. I believe it was a great inspiration for you. Maybe you can listen to it again and really drag out the important things that resonate with you. I'm sure there have been many words that you need to hear that can help you on your journey. And so as we wrap up this episode of Bench Talks, I like to express my gratitude for tuning in. And if you like this episode, share it with your friend. You can also follow us for more on Instagram or Facebook, global.women.community. Always remember that you are stronger than you think. Take what you have learned today, what you have heard, and put it into action. Use it in your life. Keep on thriving, keep on growing, keep on shining. And together, let's empower each other, let's empower ourselves in order to build a brighter future for us, for our kids, and for the generations to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you.